Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com coming to you with Thursday's market wrap. Thursday saw us have a little bit of a bullish day with the NASDAQ up 1.2%. I want to notice something. Volume did pick up, which is a bit of good news, I guess you can say, above the previous day. So we got a rally. But as you can see, we're still in the middle of this huge, even starting from over here and going to here, it's only moved to negative 2% since June. So we're still in the middle of a big trading range, and we're stuck in between the 50 and 200-day moving average. So there's a big fight here between retail bulls and bears because the institutional investors are nowhere in sight in this market. They might start trying to come back, but I wouldn't count anything big. Bottom line is there's nothing to do. A lot of pundits are going to go over these charts heavy tonight, and they'll tell you all sorts of stories, but bottom line is there ain't much going out here. This New York Stock Exchange did get back above its 50-day moving average. It did it on higher volume. That could be bullish in the very short term, but still, overall, this is still a very long downtrend, so it's nothing to get too excited about. If you see a couple of good medical charts, yeah, go for it, I guess, if it's coming out of a proper base and pattern. But still, I just still believe cash is king. I don't ever trust it when it's just these low-volume rallies. And we can look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average and see that whenever it finally decides to get there, it definitely got over the 50-day moving average in a very fierce force. But as you can notice, the volume was well below the 50-day volume average, and I hate to tell you it, unless volume's up here on a move indicating institutional support, it's not a move that has a high chance of holding. So we very well easily could be down 2% tomorrow, and it would be actually quite normal. Let's look at some charts. Let's look at Cybex, one that we own that I've already told you to sell 50% and 25% of. It has failed. This is a full sell. I want to show you something. This negative 15% loss is only on around 15% of my original position, but it's closing below the 50-day moving average on the biggest volume that it's seen in quite a while. That is a full sell. You don't wait for it to come back. Just get out. Move the money to either the sidelines or go to cash. And this chart also proves how a very pretty chart can get very ugly very fast. It looked like it was looking mighty good up here, didn't it? And then, boom, a bear market just does this to stocks. This is what happens. We got the warning signs, so we were able to get mostly out early. A few more that I said looked good to short, but they weren't perfect, is now perfect. CAD now has had a very weak day, closing near the low of day with volume picking up and BOP going red. On a long-term chart, you can see that there's a long way to go down, and you can see all of this heavy volume right at the top. I am ready to go short this stock now, so this will probably be a new short tonight. Another one recently was PDS, and PDS is set up in the same long-term position. The only problem is that it's not closing at its low of day, so I'm not too sure if I'll probably end up passing on it because the 50 and 200 day aren't touching here. But PDS is definitely looking like it's topping, as you can see from a longer term weekly chart. And these are always more important to me than daily charts. So right there you can see that it's not doing how it should do. I'm going to probably pass on it. I just wanted to bring it up and show you the extreme weakness. Now the good news is we have more better looking charts. LDK is still working on a base. We'll show that here. MED is still working on a base. We'll show it right here. Hopefully it can pull back towards the 50-day moving average on lighter volume from this heavy volume accumulation. It is a medical stock, of course. PMCS had a nice little breakout today from an ugly base, so I'm not taking it. I just wanted to show you some positive action in a semiconductor stock, which is always quite good for me. I always like to see, but recently it means the end of a run. MCC is another strong chart pattern that's showing up. Hopefully it can build a longer base or pull back to the 50-day moving average on low volume and then become an eventual buy. ZLC, a breakout today. It wasn't beautiful from a beautiful base, and as you can see, very choppy V-ish action all over the chart, so it's not the best, but hey, it is positive movement. CRN, a stock we are currently long, building a nice round base, Volume dried up in the middle, and it's rising again as it comes out. On a 2-day, you can see the extreme strength in it with all the intraday tails and the strong closes. This should do well for us right now in this bad market, so I'm glad I'm long this stock. APEI will probably be a new long today. It's bouncing right off the 50-day moving average. I know it didn't close at the high of day, but volume's picked up. BOP is starting to rise a little bit again, and I think it might be okay to go long. It looks better over here on my laptop where the chart stretched out a little more, which probably could be fixed if I just do this. Yeah, that helps a little bit. And then let's look at some other few that they could pull back would be good. XRM, a lot of green BOP in this chart. If it can pull back to the 50-day moving average and bounce off heavy volume like APEI, it would be good. BECN we see working well. It needs to keep on making that base sideways. I don't like that I see BOP falling off. That's not good. And then the last one is AIMC. I see this one's breaking out. Another ugly red portion in the base, but it stayed flat. There wasn't enough green BOP leading up to it on the uptrend, so I'm going to pass on this one too because here I can see V moves. Just not nice and round. Overall, these charts are just pretty ugly, you know. I mean, LDK could set up to be a nice one. I really like what I'm seeing there. That seems very round to me now compared to a lot of charts that I've seen recently. I believe the only one that I want to go long offhand is APEI, and it isn't perfect. This market isn't perfect. I was going to show you guys that 1995, what started all I-Omega chart, but sadly, I-Omega doesn't exist. I guess EMC got him or somebody, and so dang it, I can't show you that great chart that started it all from the past. But to go over the market one more time, it's in the middle of a trading range on the NASDAQ. There is nothing to do. It's taking it a while to show up here. There that is, just going nowhere since January. Absolutely nowhere. You have the S&P 500 taking a while to show up. It's actually moving down. You can see it slowly drifting down. If you had a line that went through the middle of all the price action, I think you could see it moving downwards. Same with the New York Stock Exchange. So overall, this is just a short-term bull bounce on extremely low volume. Look at how weak the relative strength line is right here on the New York Stock Exchange compared to other indexes. It's well into new low ground, way past the January, March, and July bottoms. So it's showing extreme weakness with it above the July lows, and that's never going to be a good sign. So overall, the market still looks pathetic. It had a good day today, but how good is it when volume barely was up? So this is Joshua Hayes at BigWayTrading.com coming to you from Thursday's market session. Nothing really happened today. It was a bullish day, but on volume well below the 50-day volume average. It's hard to get excited on a market like this. Thank you very much for watching.